Happy Friday and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd and it's Friday. So end of the work week for a lot of folks. Happy Taylor Swift album release day to those who celebrate. I do not celebrate, but my household does. We have listened to Taylor Swift all morning. Do with that information what you will. This morning's forecast made possible by ServPro with 3 locations to serve you across the area: Monroe, West Monroe, Shreveport, and Natchez. Call or click servpro.com today. It is a very pleasant start to this Friday morning. Most of us are in the low to mid 60s. Some are in the upper 60s. Monroe's at 68, Camden and El Dorado at 61, Magnolia and Homer at 63, Bastrop and Greenville at 64. So is Jonesboro and Winfield. So again, a very pleasant start to the day, and visibilities are not giving us a big headache in terms of the fog, which had been pesky across portions of southern Arkansas. I say that. Now Natchez is down to 1 mile of visibility. Everybody else is doing fine up until I brought that up. But again, generally speaking, visibility is better across the area than it has been over the last couple of mornings. Check rain totals. Again, yesterday was not expected to be a big, widespread, significant serving of rainfall for the region. It was just going to be one of those, if you see it, great. If you don't, then join the rest of us. While a good chunk of Ouachita Parish saw some isolated specks at times through the course of the day, it never really yielded a lot of significant rainfall. We didn't see any rain at my house. Trace amounts of precipitation for some, up to maybe 1/4 of an inch of rain in some locations, and Gina advertising a half, but I think most spots were even lower than that. So again, a little bit underperforming in terms of a rainfall. I say underperforming, but again, we weren't really expecting much to begin with anyway. Satellite radar composite shows, we've got a little bit of light shower activity across the Gulf coastline, and I would expect that trend to continue through a good chunk of the weekend. Folks immediately along the coast will likely be dealing with some rain off and on through the early parts of next week. Pam, good morning. Thanks so much for jumping in on the Digital Weather Desk this morning and staying up to date on your forecast. Your Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. Of course, they've got a full stock of ATV and side-by-sides. Hunting season's right around the corner, so give Mike and the guys a call today. Go visit them. Great group of folks. Check of Futurecast shows that today we're looking at generally full sunshine. I don't really expect a whole lot of significant changes in our forecast as we go through the day, but the clouds will start to pick back up a little bit as we head through Saturday. I know Futurecast is trying to advertise some spotty rainfall. I really don't see that in the cards for most of our area. If we do see anything, it would be very, very similar to what we saw yesterday. Spotty, brief, moving generally kind of caught in the low-level pattern and drifting off probably to the west or northwest. But again, overall rain chances, I've kept them out of the forecast for Saturday, and if we do see anything, it would be very, very brief. Gloria, Beverly, good morning. Thanks so much for hopping in on a relatively abbreviated look at the forecast this morning. You can see what festers along the Gulf coastline through the weekend is just, again, general shower and storm activity for the immediate coastal folks. It doesn't really wander inland much this weekend. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But a look at the tropical satellite. Not a whole lot going on that's organized across the region. Betty, good morning. Thanks so much for hopping in. But we look at the potential tropical development areas, those yellow, orange, and red zones. There is a wave moving out into the open Atlantic that now has a 40% chance, a medium chance of development over the next 7 days. And then our little yellow spot over the Bahamas and over Florida still has about a 10% chance of tropical development. Not a lot of high confidence there, but it's still a possibility. Beverly asks if any cooler weather is coming. We'll talk about that in the 7-day, but I don't really have a lot of good news there. It's kind of a bummer, right? Janet, good morning. Pistol Carter joining us on YouTube. That's a reminder that we stream 4 different avenues daily: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X. And then we put content on all the other platforms as well. Your tropical forecast is always made possible by Russell Moore Lumber, your lumber number on Desert Street, Monroe. You call, they haul. Give them a shout today. And give them a shout before the weekend, because they've got grills and griddles and smoking seasonings and brisket rubs and barbecue rubs, steak rubs, all kinds of stuff like that. Go check them out. This is what we were showing the other day with the Futurecast and showing this kind of envelope of moisture moving in along the coastline. Now, one thing that's kind of changed with the computer model data is instead of seeing like this big, huge, large closed low out over the northeastern Gulf, it still is just kind of like an elongated trough of low pressure. And we're also dealing with kind of a general mid-level ridge, which we're going to see a lot of moisture start getting kind of moving parallel to the coastline, but there's the potential for some of that to start moving in along the coastline late Sunday. Again, this looks to generally be kind of more of an elongated trough, kind of a stretched out area of deeper layered moisture along the northern Gulf. And so some of that kind of wanders in Sunday, and some of the computer models are suggesting that that little lobe of moisture we work with Monday, Tuesday could bring some rainfall in our area. You can obviously see, compared to where we've been, this is a nice little noted increase in deep layered moisture. So I'm not saying the rain chances are completely zero. They will be there. I just don't have a lot of confidence in them right now. And forecaster confidence is kind of everything when you're building a weather forecast. But note as we go through the middle parts of this week, we still have this just very large, deep envelope of moisture just out over the northern and northeastern Gulf. And then as we put this into motion a little bit farther, you can see that just kind of wanders across the northern Gulf this week and potentially, maybe even closes off later this week as an area of low pressure. So there's still a lot of uncertainty as to whether this trough moves into the northern Gulf and immediately moves inland, whether it just kind of skirts through the northern Gulf and brings rain for everybody immediately along the coastline, whether it eventually closes off into something tropical, even if it's a weak tropical depression, and it just continues to wander westward. It doesn't help that we've got a lot of upper-level components working together in tandem to really kind of throw a wrench in the forecast. There may be a developing trough to the northwest by middle to end parts of next week. High pressure aloft should be trying to build back in. So that's where forecasts in terms of tropical systems or any kind of influx of tropical moisture gets kind of hairy this time of year, because we're in kind of a transitional pattern from summer where things are a smidge more predictable in terms of tropical activity and stuff like that. I say that most times. And then you transition into fall, where you get the big sweeping cold fronts through, and so you get some more active mid-latitude cyclones, and those have to be taken into account. So I say all of that to say we really don't know what's going to happen early next week, and I would rather just be brutally honest with you than anything else. Highs today still near 90. I expect generally almost full sunshine for the area. If we do run into any clouds, they really won't be a big problem. Best chance of clouds will be in the southern parishes and counties through the day. Miss Vicky, Aunt Vicky, good morning. Steve and Eddie, good morning. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Rain chances are close to zero today. Winds will stay out of the east. Lows tonight, mid-60s. Again, we've advertised it for the last couple of days how this little weak trough of low pressure in the upper levels is going to kind of nudge its way from the east into our area. So that breaks down the ridge of high pressure that's brought hot, dry, hot, dry, hot, dry. So we're still generally dry, but it allows overnight lows to maybe dry out and we drop a little bit, but it also allows daytime highs to maybe fall a few degrees as we go into the weekend. I know it's not explicitly advertised here, but upper 80s Sunday, Monday. I still think we're going to see near 90 degrees Friday, Saturday for a lot of areas. Upper 80s are still certainly attainable, especially across southern Arkansas and along the Mississippi Valley. Those folks probably have the best chance of seeing the slightly cooler temperatures. Your 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Outdoor Equipment, the exclusive outdoor power equipment company of the Digital Weather Desk. Rain chances are small for early next week, but they're up to 20% Monday, Tuesday. In full disclosure, I will do a full refresh of this forecast between now and the midday, simply because we get the newest weather data, model data in during that stretch. So what you see now versus what you see midday and what you see this evening will probably look different. It will at least be attempted to look different. There will have been work put into it. Whether the numbers change or not, that's really up to Mother Nature. Janice and Vicky, good morning. Got a lot of Vickies in this morning. All different spellings, but that's cool. Thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank, which is a digital weather platform serving 33 parishes and counties across northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and western Mississippi. It's made possible by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. A little bit of an update before folks start. Everybody knows that's the end of the live stream. But before we split, I did share this update yesterday on our late broadcast, and just wanted to kind of bring it up again this morning. A quick update on the app. I have received a test version of the Apple version of our app. I should receive, hopefully, I keep checking my email, I should receive a test version of the Android version of the app today, hopefully. We will run through those and kind of make sure everything looks good with them, and then we should be set to probably submit those for App Store approval, I would think by the middle part of next week. And I'm giving myself a few extra days just to make sure that everything looks right and everything works right. So we hopefully by the middle or end of next week would submit those to App Store approval. I believe it takes 7 to 10 days after that. I was told 7, but again, always padded a couple of extra days because I don't want folks to go, you said 7, it's been 7. And when you're dealing with larger companies, you kind of deal with what they give you. So that's where we are with the app. I'm hoping, cautiously optimistic again, that we will see it sometime in the month of October, hopefully sooner rather than later. But again, I'm a big under promise, over deliver kind of person, so I'd rather just be pleasantly surprised with it at an earlier stage. And I know it seems frustrating for a lot of folks that are ready to download it, and I'm ready to download it as well. But time is a drop in the bucket, and so we will get there when we get there. Again, we're trying to crawl before we can walk here at the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Got a lot of other things behind the scenes that I work on daily, so we can get prepared for severe weather season, so we can get ready for winter weather season. And so we have all of these different moving pieces that you're not seeing right now, but when the time comes that we need it, those things are constructed, built, ready to go, and so we can bring it to you. So, again, we work hard every day, Stanley and I. It's mainly me. He just sits and makes sure I don't mess anything up. John, thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk. If you, of course, checked in with this live stream at the very end, it will be here for you to watch through all of your viewing pleasure through the rest of the day as you see fit. And, of course, the forecast is always available with the latest radar image at digitalweatherdesk.com. That's also where you can find those hats behind me if you so feel inclined. They're both $25 a piece. Of course, delivery charges are shipping charges are a smidge extra, but we will have more designs and more fun stuff along the way. Again, crawl before we can walk. Too Long Didn't Read comes up a little bit later this morning. We'll have a look at your midday forecast. Your football forecasts come out early this afternoon. A look at the evening forecast right before those high school games later tonight, and your fishing game later this evening. So thanks so much for joining. Lori, I'm glad that you're with us on this journey as well as everybody else. If I don't say it enough, I'm so glad you're here. We'll take a look at the forecast a little bit later today. As I said, we'll have a bunch of additional content for you to kind of gobble up as the day progresses as well. Enjoy your Friday. Be